Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I'm Matt.
And we are a VHS podcast that looks at the box art, the trailers before the film, and behind the scenes.
And we're always down to wax nostalgia.
I've got to get better at that opening. I got to write it down and read it. I'm terrible at, I just blank at the stuff that should be scripted in my mind.
We just assume that everybody listens to every episode. Because you guys do, right? You just go through each one the way you should.
Let's get into one of the wackiest films we have done on this podcast, in my opinion.
Yes. Yo, Joe, we're doing G.I. Joe the movie.
Attack Cobra!
It's here! G.I. Joe, the action-adventure movie you've been waiting for.
Hey, why didn't you just yell, look out?
Didn't you read my green sheet? I'm a man of action.
G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe is
G.I. Joe, the most exciting adventure ever. Watch it.
Explosion!
Fireworks, explosions, America, guns.
Let's talk about our history of G.I. Joe, with just our personal history. Did you have action figures, watch the cartoon? What was yours?
The only connection I had to it was I had some of the action figures, but I didn't watch the show. I didn't read the comic books. I didn't have any connection to the toys other than I thought they looked cool. It was fun to see some of those characters show up in this movie and actually have a background for what they are. But I have, other than owning a few of the cool looking toys, I have no background with it. I've never even seen the live action movies that came out in the 2000s. I have no background with G.I. Joe.
I have very little of a background. I was more of a Transformers kid, but more importantly, I was more of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kid. So I kind of missed this G.I. Joe Real American Hero. I wasn't allowed to watch the cartoon in my grandma's. I was 3 when it started, so this was way too violent. And then she just didn't allow me. My other babysitter didn't, and I just was too young. I did not get the, Yo Joe craziness that was when this movie came out, because in 87, G.I. Joe was just taking over toys.
Yeah, see, I was born in 89. I do think I missed a lot of it. I think that's why. I think this is just one of those things, we're pretty close in age. This is one of those divides. I missed G.I. Joe. By 1990, 1991, when I was playing with toys, it was still the Ninja Turtles and Batman and things like that. But G.I. Joe had kind of almost faded a little bit at that point.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that makes sense. You just weren't of the time period, kind of like me.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little bit of a history on Hasbro before we get into this, and maybe a little history of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. The original G.I. Joes made by Hasbro back in the 60s, 70s, the original 12, the 12-inch dolls and everything like that.
Barbie
I guess
for boys.
Yeah. Even though they refuse to call it a doll, they're the ones who coined the action figure name.
Right.
So, I guess during the late 70s, after Vietnam and everything like this, being a soldier wasn't exactly popular anymore like it was in the 60s. So they needed to reinvent themselves. And they talked to Marvel about reinventing the Joe look, the marketing of it. And Marvel, and them got together. They created a comic book called G.I. Joe, Real American Hero in 1982. And that comic ran from 82 to 94, along with the toy line that they came out. So this originally was a comic and toy line that worked together to recreate G.I. Joe. And then in, I guess, whenever 84, they're like, well, let's come out with a mini-series that launched in 85. It did well. So they created 80-something episodes that ran from 85 to 86. So Hasbro had this, just something that was hot. So they're like, we got to come out with a film. A lot like they did with Transformers or My Little Pony. And they launched this movie in 87 when it was on fire, and we got this bizarre, crazy-ass film.
Yeah, the whole time I was watching it, I was wondering if this was like a made-for-TV thing or a bunch of episodes cut together into a movie, which I know they did a lot in the 90s. I didn't know if this was an 80s thing. But yeah, it actually appears that this was a purposefully made feature-length film.
Initially, this was supposed to be launched into theaters. They had a lot of production problems, and this ended up coming out in 87. Transformers came out in 86, but G.I. Joe was supposed to come out first. But because Transformers and My Little Pony struggled so much in the theater, they decided to make this a direct-to-video, and then they also split it into 3 parts for syndication. So that's how they...
That's where those, like, fade-to-blacks came in. Yeah.
They're very odd when I watched it, because I went right into this, face first into this film, and just like, what the hell's going on? And then the more I read, the more this made sense. So there's your kind of like just quick 5-minute history of Hasbro and G.I. Joe American Hero. And I didn't have any of the toys, really. I didn't have any of the giant play sets. I wanted them. My cousin, Brad, I think, and Brett had a lot of them. And maybe my older brother, Brian. But I was so young, I just can't remember. Because at that point, I loved Ninja Turtles in the early 90s so much that's when I started really getting into toys.
Like I said, I just missed it. I think I just missed the wave of G.I. Joe. If it kind of started fading by 94, I mean, that's when I got, like, crazy into, like, toys. Anything that was out in, like, 94 actually was probably around the time I was scooping stuff. So I missed this. I missed the craze. I did have some of the toys, but I had no sort of frame of reference. I was just like, that's cool looking. And, you know, then I'd throw it around the backyard and that'd be the day, you know?
Yeah, I feel like this really fizzled after the movie, and then the second series came out in 87 or 88. I don't know, whenever. They did like another 40-something episodes. I feel by the early 90s, you know, kaput.
Yeah.
Now, I do find something interesting about this, that they went down to the 3 3/4 toys.
Yeah.
Because of the success of Star Wars.
Yes.
I bet they saved a ton of money, too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they did. Just like as a former toy person, the 3 3/4 are way cooler, too, than the 12 inchers.
Yeah, you can sit there and play with multiple ones and with your friends in the
Throw
playground.
Them around. Yeah. No, they were awesome. I love the Star Wars 3 3/4, and the ones of these that I had were so cool.
Have you watched the documentary that Netflix has on toys?
Yes, I've seen this G.I. Joe one. It's good. It gave me some history because I didn't collect these. Like, I collected the Star Wars one, so I watched that one first. But then I went back and watched Barbie and G.I. Joe and Masters of the Universe, which were ones that obviously I didn't collect, but were fascinating. So, great series.
Yeah,
Looking forward to its return.
I really personally enjoyed the Star Wars one and the He-Man one the most. The He-Man one just kind of blew my mind with like how they just reused molds all the time, and how that was just like thrown together of like, we need these toys. I invented this. Fuck it, put a cartoon out.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's awesome. So 80s.
Yeah, you really learn that it's just like, how can we shove this down parents and kids' throats and then make the parents buy these kids' toys.
Right. And the movie we are about to watch definitely was made to sell toys. It is consumer 80s at its finest.
We're going to walk into the video store and let Matt break down this box art.
Along with all the regular G.I. Joe superhero favorites, this high-gloss spectacle introduces a whole new cast of kinetic characters that are sure to be a hit with kids across the country.
You have nothing to fear but Falcon himself.
Miami Vice Super Cop Don Johnson stars as the voice of Lieutenant Falcon, the playboy whose shenanigans land him in the slaughterhouse.
I've been expecting you.
Ruled by who else but that patriot of pain, the incredibly awesome Sgt Slaughter.
You're going to war till you wish you were dead.
Then it's off to Cobra Land, where the terrifying Globalus, brilliantly voiced by Burgess Meredith, reveals his plan to destroy the minds of every human on Earth.
This pitiful planet will be ours.
Now, right in their own homes, kids everywhere can see if G.I. Joe can still save the day in this high-budget, high-voltage film showcase of their all-time favorite superheroes.
And this is for the U.S. Army!
fasten your seatbelt for the supercharged motion picture debut of G.I. Joe, the movie.
Matt, what made you want to rent this?
So here's the cover. On the top, we get the studio logo, Celebrity Just for Kids. I remember them putting out a bunch of cartoons in the 90s, this Just for Kids label. I don't know who owns that studio or whatever, but I remember seeing the Just for Kids logo on a bunch of cartoons I had in the 90s. We've got the American flag draped in the background with the G.I. Joe team standing in front of it, with one of the guys actually still carrying an American flag. 1/3 of the box down, you get 2 American flags.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We've got like the ships, the helicopter, the spaceships, the pterodactyl-looking monster thing, space shuttle taking off in the air, all kinds of shit just flying in the air. The lead G.I. Joe, which is, what's his name, Falcon, Lieutenant Falcon, has his gun just like blazing, still smoking in the on the cover. And on the side we see like the snake and the villain and the other snake villain guy, and then like the snake headquarters with the stairs and a bunch of bats and creatures and things on there, and G.I. Joe the movie bursting through the middle after the G.I. Joe, the red, white, and blue as their logo. So I mean 3 appearances of Old Faithful, or whatever they call it. What do they call the flag? I forget. I don't care.
Old Glory?
Old Glory. Thank you. Old Faithful is something else. Sorry.
You want to know how I know you're a socialist?
I don't know what I am. I just don't care. Yeah, and then it says a full-length animated feature film on the cover, so you can't get confused that it's a cartoon. Yeah, really cool mix of like the sort of like mysterious, almost like horror animation with the G.I. Joe, like sunshiny, good guy animation. On the side here, we just get like 2 character profiles. We get Falcon, Green Beret on the one side, and on the other side of the spine, we get Serpentor, the leader of Cobra. He's the Cobra Emperor, as it says on the side here. Then we flip over to the back, and the back is kind of interesting because it says G.I. Joe the movie, and then it's the Celebrity Just for Kids logo again, and a tagline of the venom of Cobra, the vengeance of the G.I. Joe team. Whatever tagline. And this is the description. The Joes face their gravest mission as they fight to save the Earth from total destruction at the hands of the evil creator of the Cobra organization. In this action-packed animated feature film, they are pitted against deadly enemies and a technology they don't understand. Me neither. In a battle they must not lose. Color, 93 minutes, closed captioned. I wonder if this one's in stereo. So this is during the stereo era. But here's the most interesting thing about the back. We get character profiles. So I'll go through these really, really quick. On the back, we have Sgt Slaughter, drill instructor, Serpentor, Cobra Emperor, Falcon, Green Beret, Jinx, Ninja Intelligence, Hawk, something Commander, but it's covered by one of the other boxes, Cobra Lagarde, Chuckles, Undercover, Lady Jane, Covert Operations, Pythona, Red Dog, Leatherneck, Marine, Law and Order, MP, and K9. And Tunnel Rat, EOD.
Yeah, this is crazy. So this doesn't have Duke on the back, and Duke is the G.I. Joe leader.
I think it's because they're pushing Falcon really hard with this one.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
It just like Hot Rod and Transformers. Like, we need a new young lead.
Yeah.
To sell to the kids.
And it's Falcon, who is played by none other than Don Johnson.
So weird. Like the ladies' man from Miami Vice. Yeah. This is the guy you choose to be like the face of your animation?
Yeah.
The guy who's like banging women?
Yeah. G.I. Joe, meet Don Johnson.
Kids, this is the man you want to be.
Right. That's what they're like doing. They're doing like the machismo man. Everybody, the womanizer. Cool guy.
So, I mean, what I knew about G.I. Joe before I put in this film, all right, I knew G.I. Joe was basically Nick Fury type thing. Marvel, whoever created the G.I. Joe, like, new characters for the New American Heroes, whatever this is called, he, like, wanted to do Nick Fury battling Hydra, you know, Nazis and everything like that. And when Marvel and Hasbro got together. They're like, well, let's make Nick Fury and them the G.I. Joes, okay? And instead of fighting Nazis, because everyone's done that, let's fight terrorists. And they're like, well, we can't call them terrorists. Let's call them Cobra.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, let's make them like monsters, basically. Not like dudes, like literal like monsters in this movie.
That's what confused me about this. So when we put in this tape, we'll talk about it. I was like, what the hell is going on with all these monsters and everything? I'm pretty sure the show was just Cobra was a group trying to take over the United States, the world, or whatever, and G.I. Joes were the people who had to step up and take down the terrorists.
Right.
So, I mean, pretty basic
Yeah.
story. This movie, though, what the hell is going on? So, I mean, you want to stick in the tape and just, like...
I guess before we stick in the tape, I just have to ask, if you saw this cover, though, as a kid, do you pick this up?
No, I didn't. Because I just, like, I don't care about the G.I. Joe, and it's not like I'm anti-hero or anti-American or anything like that. It's just like, I didn't watch this, so I would go to Transformers way before this. Now knowing and watching this film, I want to own this, because this is fucking balls out crazy.
Yeah, so mine is exactly the same. It's, as a kid, I absolutely would have passed this up. I wasn't a G.I. Joe fan. I knew what it was. Every kid still knew what it was. I just wasn't a fan. So I would have absolutely passed this up. But 10 years ago, when I bought this from the same video store I bought Fern Gully from, as they were closing, I saw this cover and I was like, oh my god, I have to see this. Like, I have to know what this is. And then it sat on my shelf for 10 years and we finally got here. But, like, as an adult seeing this cover, I was like, absolutely, have to see this. Yeah. What kind of madness is happening in this? It's such a clusterfuck of a cover.
I know, this cover is like America action figures just threw up on it. Like,
yeah.
It's just like color, nonsense, explosion. This is what happens when you have a toy company desperately trying to sell the vision of America.
Yeah.
Like, and with the Rambo kind of feel and look.
Yeah, Rambo meets, like... Yeah, this is like Rambo meets Masters of the Universe, because there's all kinds of monsters. So they were just going ham on everything here.
Yeah, this fucking cover is insane. So let's
pop it in.
Let's pop it in.
And now, our feature presentation.
So I watched the trailer for this film, and it's weird. But, again, like, when we watch these trailers, I expect trailers before the film, and you and I were very much disappointed. No trailers in this.
Yeah, no, we get the Celebrity Just for Kids logo, and then the movie starts. Like, it just starts right off.
What's your level of pissed off from 0 to 10 when there's no trailers on these old cartoons?
Like a 9. I don't want to, like, let it end my world and be at, like, a 10, but, like, I'm like, come on, give me 1.
No, I get, like, a little furious.
You're, like, 11.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I want these obscure trailers on these crazy-ass 80s films, and they gave us nothing. These bastards.
Yeah, no, nothing before, nothing after.
And they had so much to actually advertise. I mean, come on, Hasbro. Where's your Transformers? Where's your My Little Pony the movie?
Or where's a toy commercial? Put a toy commercial before the movie.
Cobra can run, but he can't hide. The G.I. Joe Crusader's hot on his trail. Nobody beats G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe Crusader. Cobra is shaking with fear. Crusader's gonna blast him from the stratosphere. Gotcha!
Launch the Avenger!
The Crusader and Adventure are one top team.
Gear down!
Awesome! Nobody beats G.I. Joe, a real American hero!
Crusader comes with Pilot and Avenger.
Yo!
That's why you're the brains behind this operation. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Where's
fuck?
the toy commercial? Like, I don't need another movie, but sell me this fucking G.I. Joe shit. I mean, I know the movie is basically just a toy commercial, but give me a toy commercial. Try to sell me some T-shirts. Try to sell me some lunchboxes. Make me join the fan club. That's what needs to be in front of this tape.
Yeah, New Line should have talked to Hasbro here. Like, let me tell you how to market a movie. Mm-hmm. So we get into this. I watched this film. And the first 3 minutes to this is basically the definition of this film, because it is a coma-inducing confusion blast.
Yes. So, yeah, the beginning of this movie is just nonsense. It's the G.I. Joe theme song, which I, again, not watching the show ever, but I am familiar with. And it's like them fighting Cobra over the Statue of Liberty, and there's so many colors, and there's so many lights, and there's so many characters. I was like, what are we doing?
I had to watch the beginning like 3 times to understand what was happening, and then I had to read the full synopsis online to like, okay, so Cobra's trying to take over the Statue of Liberty, and G.I. Joe saves it. Not that really complicated of a synopsis, but when you watch this, you don't fucking get that at all.
No, like it starts with lights and colors, and it's almost like seizure-inducing. Like it's a lot of like flashing lights and colors that make no sense and have no connection to anything. And you're like, what's happening? And then you see they're like sort of fighting or like protecting the Statue of Liberty, but you don't know what's going on. But like I knew right away once that scene happened, I was like, good, I can turn my brain off. Like I don't have to think, like I'm not gonna understand this, so we're just gonna look at the pretty colors. Like
I was so exhausted after watching the first 3 minutes, I napped.
Wow.
Like my brain just goes, can't do this, cannot do this.
I had to watch this movie in thirds.
So did I.
I had to watch it in 3 parts. I watched the last 2 nights after work, which was like just put me right to sleep. Not because this movie's boring, but because I don't know what's going on. And then I had to finish it right before coming over here today because I just like I didn't have time to finish it, and like my brain couldn't handle finishing it, so I had to do it in 3 parts.
Yeah, I watched this on Daily Motion. I mean, you said you did it in segments. We watched a little bit of this film, not the whole thing, because there's no way you and I could sit through 90 minutes of this.
Yeah, I am going to hold on to this tape forever because it's insane, but I also don't know if I'm ever going to watch this again because I don't know if my brain can handle it again. Like, my brain got, like, fucked by this movie.
So you can watch it on the Daily Motion, broke down by 3 and all their ads and everything. This film is so hard to rent online. Like, no one carries it. Not even Amazon.
Yeah, I wonder who Just for Kids kind of let the rights to this go to. Like,
I know Shout Factory came out with a super special edition on this.
Oh, okay, so that's who has it now. Yeah, because at the beginning, besides the Just for Kids logo, it's the Marvel logo that pops up, the Marvel Animation logo. So, yeah, I didn't know who actually owned this movie. Interesting that it went to Shout. What a like, but just like okay, let's get back to the movie here. Like what?
Okay, let me try. Seriously, folks, I am not the man who needs to run down this synopsis, but I'm the hero who's going to step up and do it, and it might be shit. So we've got them, the GI Joes, testing out this new sort of energy. I think it was called the GET, the GTE.
I thought it was like the BET.
The BET?
Because then I kept thinking of the channel.
Okay. You think I would remember that too, but
I thought it was. I thought I could also just be making that up.
G.I.
Joe fans, I'm sorry, I might just be making.
There's so much going on in this, like it's hard to retain. So they're testing this out. Cobra, Cobra Commander, and whatever the other snake guy's name is, Serpentor.
Yeah, Serpentor.
Yeah, Serpentor. I don't know. So they go to attack. And get this, BET, so they can take over the world. I don't fucking know. Anyway, it doesn't work out. It shows this assassin try to kill Cobra's emperor.
Right.
And that turns out to be part of this underground serpent people that are millions of years old. And I guess after the Big Bang, they had to hide in the Arctic.
Yeah, you're getting it. You're getting it because I'm forgetting all this, and you're right. This is how this went.
So they join up with Cobra, I think, to make their spores in space.
They need the BET to launch their spores all over the world because the spores turn people into monsters.
Yeah, because they do that to Cobra Commander. They turn him into a snake, and then Roadblock saves him.
Yeah.
And then G.I. Joe fights the serpent people and Cobra. They get the BET back. Duke dies. I'm doing air quotes because they say he goes into a coma. Behind the scenes, I'll explain that. And then they win. I know there was training for like the new recruits.
Yeah, Sgt Slaughter is training Falcon, who is like the new one. Don Johnson, we talked about, that they add to the team, and he's training with the other trainees then, and they join up with the regular Yo-Joes, and then they like you said, go on to defeat both Cobra and the Cobra creators. I guess the Cobra monsters.
I don't get that. I didn't understand. So Cobra Commander, I think, was supposed to originally be part of these serpent people, but I think the rest of Cobra was put together by Cobra Commander? I don't fucking know.
No, put together by Serpentor, who has some sort of connection to these serpent.
Okay, so Serpentor has the connection to these monster people, not Cobra Commander.
No, Cobra Commander also does because he was turned by a spore. That's what burned his face.
Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, love that scene.
Fool! You haven't got the BT. You don't even know where it is. Your plan is laughable.
But your punishment will not be.
Punishment? What about my trial?
It's over, and the verdict is guilty. Guilty of the one unforgivable crime, failure.
No! No! Not the spores! I'm a citizen of Cobra Law! Not the spores! No!
And then, so who the fuck is Falcon?
Falcon is the new addition to the team who, because he's a womanizer and he's just, all he's got is fucking on the brain, he steps away from his security post, lets Cobra into their facilities, and they get a hold of something that's going to lead them to the BET. So then they have to send Falcon to training with Sgt Slaughter.
The middle of this film, I completely lose.
I lose the end. I just I don't know, what I just watched literally an hour ago is gone from my brain. I'm looking at everything as it's happening in front of me, and I'm just I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, the half serpent man at the end whoever I guess Falcon kills, what stabs him in the eye with this staff. I was like, what? I don't remember this guy at all. I mean, I don't know much about the Joes, but what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
This is batshit and crazy.
Yes, it's absolute insanity. I should also point out, because we talked about it off air, but now that we're on air, Sgt Slaughter is that Sgt Slaughter. He is the 80s wrestling character that used to fight with Hulk Hogan. Sgt Slaughter in animated form, voiced by Sgt Slaughter.
I've been expecting you. My name is Sgt Slaughter, special drill instructor for G.I. Joe.
That's terrific, Sarge, but I'm trying to cut down on the chicken sweat just now, so if you'll excuse me.
You're going nowhere, Space Case. You're here because you're an industrial straight follow-up. My job is to whip you into shape, and I'm talking whip. There's only two ways out of my command. On your feet like a man, or in a ditty bag. An itty-bitty ditty bag.
I don't know if Sgt Slaughter was in the comic books, but I know Hasbro did. I'm almost positive Hasbro did the wrestling action figures. So Sgt Slaughter being in this, I guess, would make sense.
There's the crossover, for sure.
I mean, he was All-America at this point before he turned heel in 90 or 91.
Yeah, right.
When he became an Iraqi friend, ally.
Yeah, I don't remember really, but I
just remember him and Hulk Hogan getting into it.
Right, they were good. He was a good guy for a while and worked with Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan was the real American hero.
Oh yeah, brother, take your vitamins.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, he turned heel, much like everybody else in wrestling did. That's basically the plot of the movie. That's basically the rundown of the movie. That's what happens. That is a breakdown of every beat by beat what happens. However, we can't put into words just the level of insanity here. I mean, the writers, the director, I don't know, somebody had to be super on coke when putting this together, because this moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour in a way that you almost get whiplash watching it, because you can't keep up. You're saying this and I'm remembering it, but as you're watching it, you're what's going on? It is bananas.
It's almost like Michael Bay learned to make films from watching this.
Right. This is preeminent Michael Bay. This is whiplash filmmaking. Wow.
See, I watched the Transformers movie multiple times. I remember what's happening in that. I know there's a lot going on in the Transformers film, but it feels like you can digest the film better This is so hard to digest.
Yeah, no, it happens so fast you can't keep up with it. Like, you can't process what's happening. And like, every G.I. Joe character you can possibly imagine is in this movie. They're all in it. All the G.I. Joes, all the Cobra, and then this whole new race of these snake monster people that are being introduced in this movie as, like, the higher-up villains. They're all new, but there's also a million of them, too. Like, so you've got, like, so many characters.
Well, Transformers did the same thing. All the characters in there, many of them die. I mean, Transformers gets grim, but then they introduce more characters. But for some reason, that one worked. Like, you know what's going on. This is just throw paint at the wall and see what sticks. This is nuts.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
I cannot bash this into your head enough how fucking nuts this is.
Yeah. No, like, it's hard to put into words because it's hard to put into words what we saw. One thing, though, that was just, like, highly disturbing and just of its time, but, like, it made me laugh, was the scene where Falcon walks up behind Jinx, smacks her ass, and starts, like, saying, "You're gonna end up with me by the end of the movie." And they fucking do!
Yeah.
She's just like, "You're a creep, get out of here." Like, you know, anyone would if someone walked up behind you, surprised you, smacked your ass, and said, "You're gonna end up with me." But then they fucking do end up together. They, like, watch as the fireworks go off and, like, snuggle together at the end of the movie. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Talk about a terrible person for kids to look up, little boys to look up to.
Right.
So if you treat them bad and then refuse their nose, you get to sleep with them. Okay, got it.
But, like, also, like, just a terrible character to look up to besides this very obvious point, but, like, he doesn't do the job. He's not good at being a soldier.
He's not a teammate.
He's not a team player. Like, this guy, there's nothing really likable about him at all. Like, he's bad. He's mean to women. He's bad at his job. He doesn't play well with others. Like, what? Why is he the hero of this movie? He doesn't learn by the end. He just gets the girl at the end.
He's an awful character.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I knew more about the series to see if he ever lasted into the new, like, second series of this after the movie came out. I don't know. I kind of don't care.
Yeah.
Because if they decided to keep Falcon, what the hell is your problem?
Yeah.
This is terrible character build.
And like sometimes you can have those characters that are like, they're bad at everything, but they're so fun to watch. This guy's also, like, not fun to watch because he's so boring besides. Like, he does all these bad things, but then, like, just, like, his character design and, like, who he is, he's just, like, Duke's half-brother. There's, like, he's so boring.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
He's so boring.
That's why Duke dies or goes into a coma.
Right.
So that's, I mean, the character I loved in this, first of all, Roadblock. All the stuff he's saying, especially when he's helping Cobra Commander, he's like, "I'm gonna get you out."
Yeah.
Like, I love that guy.
Yeah, no, he's really funny. I kept thinking it was Mr. T, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's, I kind of wanted
it was somebody doing a Mr. T,
yeah.
basically.
He was great. I'm sure he was incredibly popular. I think The Rock ended up playing him in the new one.
Oh, really?
Which I've not seen.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Now that I've seen this, I want to go see the live actions.
Yeah. Well, the first one sucks.
I never saw it, but
that's why I never watched the second one, because I watched the first. Thanks, Ryan Tadgey. That thing is garbage. Oh God, another character, Sgt Slaughter. I could just watch him all day.
Yeah, he's doing his Sgt Slaughter bit. I think Jinx is a fun character too. The one that unfortunately ends up with Falcon. But what I think is interesting about her character is, like, she's called Jinx because, like, her special thing is that everywhere she goes, she's bad luck. I think that's, like, a fun character to have. They don't really use it that much in this movie, but, like, it's a cool concept, at least.
All right, can I put on my liberal everything's wrong hat?
Go for it.
That's because I have a lot of friends online that are liberal, and all they do is complain.
Okay.
Super liberals, not like...
No, like the bad liberals.
Yes.
We're the good ones.
Trust us. So, like, were the girls the bad luck? Girls are bad. I was kind of like, I'm not going to stretch on that.
Yeah, it could be looked at that way, but I don't know. I just like the character.
What kind of hat can a super liberal wear when I put that on?
A dunce cap?
Yeah, but they're just, like, snotty and overeducated.
A fedora?
Oh! Boom! Nailed it. That's why you're the brains.
A dunce cap?
It's a dad joke.
Parf liked it.
Yeah, Parf.
Big fan.
Big fan. This is her type of film. What's Cobra Commander? Just because of the voice.
Cobra Commander's awesome.
Starscream. What is that voice actor's name?
Oh, I don't know, but he's great.
We'll just call him Starscream because I can't find it, and I don't feel like wasting any more time. But that high-pitched scream.
Yeah, it's great. I love that. I love Cobra Commander in this movie. I wish, because I thought Serpentor and Pythona were boring villains. I wished fucking Cobra Commander got to be the villain of this movie, but he's like the guy that like helps them in the end when he turns into a snake monster. Like, I wish he was actually the villain, because he's so fucking funny. He's so fun. And, like, I love that he's, like, a coward, and, like, he runs away from the... But that makes an interesting villain. Like, you have a villain who can do everything and is all-powerful and has the one set goal of destroying the universe. That's boring, but when you have a character that's a coward, doesn't really know what he wants to do, that's a fun villain to watch.
Christopher Collins.
Oh,
remembered it.
Gotcha.
No, I didn't even find it.
Nice.
I just remembered because my cousin's name is Christopher, and I'm like, and then anyway, I was like Christopher Collins. I think.
Nice.
Let me know if I'm wrong. I could be. I usually am.
One other voice actor, Burgess Meredith, is in this movie as the main serpent villain guy, which is just very odd. And he must have been like in the 70s at this point. This was way after like the Batman. This was like 20 years after Batman and him playing the Penguin and stuff like that. So he's got to be like up there. But he has like nothing to do in this movie. I'm like, oh, you're just Burgess Meredith like yelling into a microphone. Like you're not like doing anything.
Yeah, this whole race of people was so bad.
Such an odd choice.
Like, I didn't mind the character designs. Like, if I just saw the concept work, I'd be like, oh, they're kind of cool, but they don't belong in this universe.
Right. With that said, 100% agree with you, but I also loved it because it was like such nonsense.
Well, that's why you loved it, because you just love nonsense.
Yeah, I was like, this is terrible, and this makes no sense and doesn't fit in this world. Who are these characters? I love it though, because it's just like, it's like Hasbro threw up on screen and was like, good enough.
It's like Cool World, like where it's just you love Cool World because it's just like
nonsense. I love the nonsense of it. Yeah, I don't love this movie. I'll say that outright. But I love it. I love its like sort of fuck it factor it wears on its sleeve. I love that about it.
The trash value of this thing is high.
Yes, high trash value, low entertainment value, I guess. Which is like usually they're on par. The trashier, the more entertaining. This one's not as entertaining, but the trash is through the roof.
So this is like the top of the trash in the garbage can. You know, you're like you can still eat it and digest this. This isn't like the bottom goo.
Garbage Pail Kids?
Yeah, this isn't like the bottom ooze Garbage Pail Kids, because that's kind of like what I like.
Yeah, no, exact same. Like I like the trash at the bottom. I like the gross trash, the slimy trash.
Where people see that I own it and they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
That's what I love. This is like trash, but like, yeah, it's not like, it's like the hot garbage on top. Yeah.
You can still eat it.
Yeah.
You can still, I mean, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But you are. And then you got the kids outside eating their junk food, and that's when you get the fun movies that aren't full of trash, but they're trashy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I always describe this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like junk food is like a good comparison for these as well. But yeah, like this, like I said, I'm gonna keep it because it's so weird and so random, and like, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna like purposely watch this again.
Oh, no.
I might put it on to like have people be like, what the fuck is on screen right now? But that's about it.
Invite people over to a party and see who actually goes into like a seizure.
Yeah.
From looking over at this madness.
Right. I mean, I think that about covers the movie. Is there anything else you want to try to unpack here?
Fuck no.
Okay, let's
move
on.
Let's go to behind the scenes here.
Is your mom there?
No, I'm home alone.
Well, you won a prize. What's your address?
42 Oak Street. Hey, Roadblock, some stranger's bringing me a prize.
A stranger, huh? All he wanted to bring you was trouble. Remember, never tell anyone you're home alone, and never give anyone your address.
I'll say Mom can't come to the phone.
Smart thinking.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
So, behind the scenes here, they ended up... This whole Duke thing, which I'm sure a decent amount of people know about it, but Duke was supposed to die in this, just like they did with Optimus Prime.
In Transformers.
So, I guess the writers of this and the writers of Transformers, obviously being at the same company, both movies being at the same time, you know, I think the Transformers writers found out about it, that they're going to kill off Duke, so they, you know, like, oh, well, we're going to one-up you. We're going to kill off Optimus Prime. But what happened was G.I. Joe had massive production problems, so Transformers beat it to the theater. And once they saw that, like, kids, like, mutinied against this, I mean, the reception on killing Prime was bad. Yeah. So bad that they brought him back in the cartoon. Uh-huh. But, you know, that kind of is what makes Transformers, the movie now, so popular, is, like, it is crazy violent, and you can't believe what they did, killing off all the old first series just to sell new ones. It's part of the, like, rampage of that movie. This movie they decided to neuter because of that bad press. Like, dubbed over a voice, they're saying, like, he's in a coma.
I guess I can't look out for you anymore, kid. Don't say that, Duke. Doc will fix you up. This isn't Doc's day for miracles. It's my own fault. Oh, too slow. No. You did it to save me. Promise me you'll try to get your act together. Be a credit to your country. I'll make you proud. You'll see. Yo.
Joel. He's gone into a coma.
Falcon, don't worry. We'll do everything we can for Duke. Yo, Joe.
And then later on, they're like, he made it out of the coma.
Yeah, it's all ADR. It's not like an actual part of the movie. It's like someone, as they're cutting away to another scene, is like, oh, by the way, Duke's out of a coma. And then they're all celebrating. Like,
it's so bad.
Yeah.
So that was, you know, and it's part of what makes this film get made fun of. Just kill off Duke. Stick with it.
If Stick with your guns.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you're going to sell toys anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, grow a pair.
And Falcon sucks. You don't want him to carry the series.
Yeah, what were they thinking with that guy?
He sucks. He just, like, sucks. Like I said, like, he could be this so hateable, he's great character, but he's not. Like, there's nothing that sticks with him. He's just shitty.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with this character. Terrible idea. Now, these movies, the failure of Transformers, My Little Pony, the movie, which I've never seen, I know nothing about.
Yeah, me
either. And, you know, right here with G.I. Joe, I mean, this pretty much killed Hasbro and Marvel coming out with massive movies. I don't think they came out with anything else after this 3. They just kept on with the cartoons and comics.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting because we're going to see it now, that Hasbro inked that film franchise deal, and they're going to do, like, the Transformers that cross over with the G.I. Joes, that cross over with Mask. And then Hasbro just got the rights to something else, too, now. That'll definitely be in the universe. I forget what it is.
Now, are these live actions?
Yes.
Oh,
they're all going to do these live action things, and they're all going to cross over now.
Holy hell.
So G.I. Joe and Transformers are going to be in the same movie with Mask and Power Rangers. So now we can have a movie that has the Transformers, Power Rangers, and G.I. Joe all in the same movie now.
That's insanity.
Yeah. And that's guaranteed what they're trying to build right now. And I think the rumor is that Bumblebee, which comes out this Christmas, is going to start the Hasbro cinematic universe. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Oh my. That's going to kill some brain cells. That's all I got for behind the scenes on this. My friend Ryan, when I brought this up, and my friend Jeremy, just like to see them. I didn't get to see Jeremy's face, but I know he loves G.I. Joe. But Ryan's I got to see. As I mentioned, we were going to do this, and his eyes just light up. Like, he's just like, I've got tubs of this back home, and I had this guy, and he's spurting out all these names. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's like a foreign language. Yeah, I don't know any of these characters' names. Yeah, the fandom behind this is so crazy still. And that's another reason why, like, as wacky and as crazy as this movie is, I can't shit on it too much because, I mean, they throw every character on screen, and all the character designs are fantastic. So, I mean, I gotta give it a little bit of love. Like,
I feel people who, like, were, you know, religiously involved with this are going to be like, you guys don't know, and they're going to be saying all this stuff that we're not naming and whatever. It's like, sorry, I wasn't part of this universe.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan, but, like, at the same time, like, mad respect to the fans of this, though. Like,
it's huge.
It's huge, and it's a fun, crazy universe to be a part of. Like,
I mean, when you have a comic book series run that long and all the different iterations of animation TV series they had on this, I remember something called G.I. Joe Extreme.
Yep, I remember that.
Everyone
that was more my age because that was like 95-ish, something like that.
Yeah, I always remember like that in Beast Wars.
Yeah,
for Transformers, which
like was the 95, 96 reboots of those.
Yeah, it was just wackiness. I loved Beast Wars though as a kid, but man, I rewatched some of that.
Yeah, I'm sure it does not hold up.
Wow. Yeah, with the 2 live action movies coming out for G.I. Joe, it's crazy how big this universe truly is.
Honestly, and like sincerely in awe of it, I just am not a part of it.
Yeah, I kind of look from afar. I'm like, good job, but I don't really care to be a part of it.
Yeah, but with that said, you know, if you guys come across this movie somewhere, I say pick it up just to watch once.
Hell yeah, this is nuts.
I don't know if I necessarily like it as a movie, but just as a like experimental sort of over the top 80s consumer piece, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I hate this as a movie, but I love this as a piece.
Yes, an art piece, if you will. Yeah, as a trash piece, this is quite something to marvel at.
It sure is. All right, let's come back with the museum and what's next.
This is the second time I've had to reclaim my property from you.
That belongs in a museum.
So do you.
All right, Matt, do you know... Oh, damn it, I do this every week. This is the part of the show where we put something in the museum, whether it's good or bad. We've got to learn. We're just like Indy, going out there and finding what's good.
Yes. So, as much as there could be lumps of coal that we could learn from this week, I do still want to keep it positive, and I want to put in the museum the character of Sgt. Slaughter, because I don't understand the crossover between wrestling and G.I. Joe, because I wasn't in the G.I. Joe fandom, but I absolutely was in the early 90s wrestling fandom. Loved Sgt. Slaughter. So the fact that he is the same character he is in wrestling, in this cartoon form, in this otherworldly universe, is amazing to me. And the fact that it is Sgt. Slaughter playing the character of Sgt. Slaughter, and it's credited as such, is amazing to me. And I love that.
It's one of those things where you look at them and realize how smart sometimes they were. They already had this colorful character in wrestling. So they're like, well, he's got a military character. Let's just stick him in here. We've already got something to build this TV series off of. Just stick him in there, and kids are going to be like, I know him from wrestling.
Yeah, they already made the toys, so you're all set. Like,
yeah, it's so smart. Now, their marketing on this film is terrible, but that's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, look how much money they've made off these. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I am going to put a lump of coal into it because this is so easy. It's basically what I've been saying the whole time. Grow a pair, kill off Duke, and for the love of God, have someone read the script before you put this nonsense on screen.
Yeah, that's a good lump of coal.
Oh, man, I can't believe they went on. They're like, you know what? Read the script, like what you guys are doing.
Like where you're headed with it? Go for it. Put as many fucking colors and characters as you can on screen.
How much money do you need? Oh, it doesn't matter. We're going to make it. Oh, man. Okay, that ends a very exciting G.I. Joe breakdown.
Yes. Like, I don't like this movie, but I love this movie.
I loved watching this movie with you and discovering something that made us almost temporarily lose our mind.
Yes. You put into words best exactly how I feel about this.
All right, Matt, what's next in your animation month?
This will be the last one for Animation Month. It will be An American Tail, Fievel Goes West.
I know someone named Sarah that's very excited about this.
I'm so excited to make Sarah happy with this one because she lit up when we said we were going to do this, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this.
I don't remember hardly anything about this.
Me neither. I loved it as a kid, and this is my VHS from childhood that we're going to watch. I loved it as a kid. I never even really liked the first one that much because Fievel Goes West is the second one, but you don't need the first one to see the second one. But
now the first one I think is a Don Bluth. This
is still Don Bluth.
Is this Don Bluth also?
Yeah, it's Spielberg and Don Bluth.
I don't remember. I remember more of the first one.
Yeah, the first one is probably more beloved and more regarded. It has that song in it, the Somewhere Out There song. That's an amazing song. But like, I liked Fievel Goes West because this is them having fun with the character now. And that's why, American Tail was more of a serious movie, more of a Don Bluth, dramatic thing. Fievel Goes West was like them saying, all right, we've established these characters, let's have fun. It's a completely separate story. I don't think you need the first one. We'll find out when we go to watch it. I don't think you need the first one, though, to see this second one. But I'm very, very excited to revisit it. Haven't seen it in 20 years.
Yeah, I am too. I'm really interested because I looked up that what's his name is... I don't remember the actor's name who does the voice, so the fat cat in this.
Isn't it Dom DeLuise?
Yeah, Dom DeLuise is in this. I was like,
so funny.
Oh boy,
so funny.
Here we go.
Yes, so Fievel Goes West and American Tail 2 will be next week, and we will close out Animation Month.
So, now we can talk more about your film festival. Can you describe to people why they have to see Soft Matter?
Guys, you have to see Soft Matter. May 22nd is the release date on that. We have VOD and DVD. DVD you'll probably have to direct order from Wild Eye Releasing, but VOD you can get on all your on-demand services, so iTunes and cable on-demand, all that stuff, all that great stuff. It is the most insanely put together movie that somehow works. Like we just talked about how insane G.I. Joe is, but it doesn't work. This is a movie that's completely and totally batshit insane that works on every level. It's like Adult Swim meets 80s creature feature with pieces of Nickelodeon in it, and like there's animation, there's dance sequences, there's songs. It's completely unbelievable. You have to see this movie.
I'm gonna bang the drum on Dead Ants. Because that's literally a movie made for 13-year-old Steve.
Yes. No, it is a movie made for movie fans and just people who like to have fun in general. One of the most talked about movies of Horrorama was Dead Ant, which we had the director in for, and I love this film. I absolutely love this film. It's so fun. It's so stupid, but it works so well. It's about an 80s glam metal band that takes peyote in the desert so they could try to reinvent their sound and accidentally wake up a bunch of ants who come after them. Hilarious. It works. It's got Sean Astin, Tom Arnold, and probably his best performance ever, or at least since True Lies. And Jake Busey, my man, is in that. And when I did the Q&A with the director, Ron Carlson, who is amazing, by the way, I had my #1 Jake Busey fan shirt on that Alex made for me. So.
Yeah, that was pretty cool when he looked at that and he goes, oh man, I gotta tell Jake about that.
He did. Right in front of me, he texted Jake Busey. The next day, Jake Busey posted the picture on his Instagram and said, I found my fan.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Jake. Love to have you in next year. What a wonderful film.
And now Jake's moving on to Stranger Things Season 3.
And Predator.
Damn, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. No, I did read that.
He's Gary Busey's son, Gary Busey's character's son.
Yeah, I did read that.
Predator.
Oh, man. That's awesome. I love it. I actually can't wait for that film.
Yes, very excited for Predator. That is. We need to cover that on the podcast because that is a film tailor-made for us and for our listeners. New Predator.
Could not get enough of that film as a kid. And I love how my parents would walk in, what you watching? Predator, people getting just hacked to bits, and they're like, yeah, go about your business.
Yeah. There's no sex in it, it's fine.
There's no boobs, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we had a blast with both of those movies. Yeah, I gotta recommend them.
And then next week, let's come back and talk about Chicago Rot.
Yeah.
We'll talk about an incredibly crazy-ass film full of blood and gore, and 5-0 Goes West.
Yes. So tune in next week. Very excited to talk about 5-0 again for the first time in 20 years, and I'll fill you in on the kind of day 3 of Horrorama.
Great. If you want to listen to more of our fun little podcast here, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, and please rate and review us on iTunes.
Yep, appreciate all those that have so far. Thank you for always listening and supporting us. We hope to keep this going, and it only keeps going if you guys keep listening.
Right on. All right, until next week, take it easy. Remember to be kind.
Rewind.